Hi guys, my name is Daryl. Today I want to talk to you about my two books, Invincible and Convinced, because I get a lot of emails asking what's the difference between Invincible and Convinced. And so I'm going to explain it. I've written two books on all of Vince's methods. Invincible was my first book that I wrote. It's about 600 and something pages long, and they're really thick books, and so that's why they're expensive. I mean, they cost a lot to print. They are, it's like $59 for the soft version, soft cover, and then you can get the ebook version for $49 on my website. And the Invincible is the first 2 years that I trained under Vince's guidance, because there's so much information. I couldn't put it all in one book. There's just, it's just no way. It'd be like like Lord of the Rings, like 1,000 pages long. It's just too big, So I had to do it in two books. So Invincible was the first 2 years, and what I include in that book is, there's two year-long programs. And the first program that Vince had me on, it was the Master's program. The Master's program was a great foundational program to start with, and then it takes you throughout the whole year, and it's preparing you for your first contest or somebody who's been out of the game for a long time. The Master's program is a great program to kind of get back into it, especially if a person wants to compete. You don't have to necessarily compete, but it's basically saying, we're going to take a year and we're going to transform your body into a incredible finished product by the end of this thing. And if you want to compete, you can compete. But most of the guys that were on the program, their goal was to compete at the end of this at the program. And so that's what I did. I followed this, and I followed it right to the letter. And so Vince would send me the program. He would send me the supplements, and I could talk to him as much as I wanted to, and it was great. It was a great program, and I include all the exercises. When Vince would send the programs to his customers, there were no pictures. He would just give a description. And so he also had a book that he had, and you would buy the book, but the pictures really didn't show a whole lot of depth. So it was very hard to kind of understand how to do the exercises. So I had to call Vince up all the time and explain. And I don't think he particularly liked that, because he had to always explain. One time he's like, "Are you an idiot?" And I was like, "Oh man," he thought I was an idiot. But he would just come out and say stuff like that. But he was very gracious. He even though he had a very cantankerous personality, he did give me the information that I was looking for, and he was very kind in that respect, especially because I was a paying customer, and I think that because I was trying so hard to get this stuff, he only really would he really appreciated when people really wanted to learn from him. So as long as you're willing to put aside some of his personality issues, he was very appreciative that I really was really trying to learn this stuff, and so that's why I think that it worked so well with our relationship. And so anyway, so the Master's program. Then the second year I followed the Pro Series, and the Pro Series was then a 12-month program. Again, this was for the more advanced bodybuilder. And so this was, for my second year, I trained under Vince, and I really noticed a big difference off of this. So every month, the programs developed into a different type of a system. So you learn all these different types of systems from Vince, as well as they were always kind of building and staying, so you're stimulating the muscle without going into adaptation. And so you're able to kind of progressively build without, getting to that plateau. And so each month kind of built upon each other. By the time I got to the second year, my body was just growing like crazy. And I just remembered the differences. And going to the gym, everybody thought I was on steroids. I was incredible. I'd be training next to the guys that were on the drugs, and they were amazed that I'm only working out for 30 minutes. And these guys are in there for 2.5 hours, slaving away, and I would get in and get out. But my body would respond very nicely, because it was the way you train to keep your natural levels of your growth hormone and your testosterone levels high, and then you'd move on, you get out of the gym, and so you don't a lot of cortisol kind of build up into your system. And that was the idea of these programs. And so Vince taught me that you want to get in and get out, 35 minutes. And so that's those first 2 years, the Master Series and the Pro Series, that's what's included in the Invincible, as well as he had other programs too that, how to train a movie star, his bulking program, and then his definition program. Those are all in Invincible. So I took a lot of the programs that was like kind of like sort of like the mail order stuff, and I would put that into that book. And so I also illustrate the pictures with really in-depth descriptions of how to do the exercises. So that's the missing piece that Vince didn't really have, because he just sent you he didn't have the pictures to go along with the description. So that's what I kind of took liberty of doing, was to increase and incorporate that into Invincible. So that's what Invincible is all about. ConVINCed is the latter 3 years that I trained with Vince. So I trained with a total of 5 years. The first 2, again, were everything that I wrote about in Invincible. And then the last 3 years was what I included in ConVINCed. So that's like the continuation of the information. There's so much information that I had to, again, put it in 2 books. And ConVINCed, once I finished the 2 years with the Master's program and the Pro Series, then Vince would design me programs for myself every month that were specific to me, because he saw that I was developing really well. And we continued on, and he would design me customized programs. And that's what the ConVINCed is all about. It's all the customized programs that Vince designed for me over the next 3 years. And also adding in more nutrition and more of the exercises that I think there's over 200 something exercises that Vince knew and taught. So the entire library of those exercises are in ConVINCed. In Invincible, I only have the exercises that were of those programs. So of the Master's programs and the Pro Series and all the other programs, I only illustrated the exercises that were in those. But in ConVINCed, I went through and incorporated all the exercises that Vince taught throughout his entire career. So ConVINCed is more of an elaboration of all the exercises, all the programs, and so these are the programs that I really got a lot of benefit out of, and these are the ones I do all the time. And in conjunction with, I'll jump back into the Invincible programs as well, but it's just awesome because these were like personalized programs, and they would also work for you. And so those are the difference between Invincible and ConVINCed. So they're both very good. They have so much information. Invincible, again, is over 600 pages, and ConVINCed is over 600 pages. So that's about, just a lot of information. And there's other little things that I threw in there as well, and it's just, so many little different things on nutrition and supplementation and things that you can do to really enhance your physique. And I go more into like Vince's nutrition. And if you ever buy the books, what I also include is, you can ask me any question. So if you have a question about, program number 3 on the Masters series, you can email me, and I know what page you're on. I can tell you what to do, and what supplements to take, because there are supplements that I put when I wrote about Invincible, is all the supplements that I took when I was with Vince. But a lot of those supplements, unfortunately, you cannot get anymore. So over the years, Ron Kozloff owned NSP, Research Nutrition, who used to sell the supplements to Vince. And then when Vince passed away, Ron still continued on selling, and I became a wholesaler with Ron. And so we worked together, became best friends over the years. And he taught me everything about nutrition and the supplements, and what supplements that to substitute for the ones that Vince did not have. And so he taught me which supplements to exchange for the ones that were no longer available that Vince used to sell. So we used to collaborate on that all the time. And so I incorporate that into Invincible as well, and also in ConVINCed, kind of like the newer versions of these supplements that still work really well. But again, if you ever buy the books, then I'm always there to answer your questions. It's kind of like an ongoing thing, so it's kind of a nice bonus to have. But those are the difference between Invincible and ConVINCed. They're both very good in terms of if you want to learn Vince's programs and knowledge. And so both books are complementary to each other. If you were going to buy just one, I would start probably with Invincible, and then maybe move into ConVINCed, or you can go to ConVINCed right away, because again, they're both very good. You're going to get tremendous benefit out of them, because the programs themselves are, they're timeless and they work. And so if you incorporate the nutrition with the program, you're going to get great benefit. You can buy both of these books online. You can buy them from my website directly at www.darylcohen.com, or you can buy them on Amazon, and you can buy them right from there. If you have any questions, you'd like more information on my products, or just want to ask me some general questions, you can send me an email. It's darylcohen@darylcohen.com. You can find that on my website. And guys, I want to thank you very much for watching. Take care. See you next time.